Good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. Today is Monday, March 23rd. Some crazy price action already here early this morning. Obviously, a ton of headline news here with the Iran, some jabs back and forth with Trump and Iran. Obviously, had a huge move to the upside here, right at 610. So important today to have your news service pretty much at the ready. And as I say that, I'm going to put mine in one of my free windows here. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. So we just got another news headline: Japanese government considering intervention in oil futures. Okay. Yeah, I mean, oil's going to be obviously pretty nuts. I think a lot has to do with that strait that they've been kind of fighting about here. That's 80% of the world's oil production and natural gas go through that strait, so it's a pretty important lifeline. As far as our bands here this morning, I'm being a little bit conservative on the bands just because of this news spike here. This obviously balanced out a lot of volume here. In fact, had a few really nice signals on this one candle right here that, obviously you have no control over these types of spikes, but I'm not biased, obviously I'm not even short-term bias on the buying side right now. That's why you don't really see much of this painted green, because of this strong news candle here. So days like today, just try to be patient and wait for some setups to develop. Maybe we'll get some impulsive moves. Maybe they'll leave some unbalanced volume, and we'll see what we're able to do at that point. I just typed in the rules for the giveaway today. Just type in the keyword LUCID into the chat here this morning, and I'll be picking a winner here at 10:30 a.m. Today's drawing will be for a 25K Pro Eval account with LUCID. On Wednesday, I'll be giving away a 50K Pro account. Remember, just go into the YouTube chat and just type in LUCID, and you'll be entered in to win. It's been a pretty crazy 24 hours for me. I was flying back home last night and had about a 3.5-hour delay at TSA. My flight didn't end up arriving into Chicago till about 2:30 in the morning. So, to be fully transparent, I'm not on a lot of sleep here this morning. I'm kind of relying on some coffee boost here this morning. And coincidentally, my sister was flying out of LaGuardia yesterday. And with that accident that happened on the runway, they shut the entire airport down. So, and she was in a 5-hour TSA waiting. It took her 5 hours to clear TSA. Just to find out that not only her flight, but all flights were canceled. So she's scrambling now to see if she can get to another airport. She hasn't even slept all night. I mean, I really haven't slept much either, but crazy times we are in. Crazy times. If you guys give me 1 second, I gotta get my book map in level 2 loaded up here. So give me a few minutes, maybe about 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Just type in LUCID, and the giveaway will be at 10:30 a.m. this morning. Be right back. All right, I'm back, everyone. So you feel naked without bookmap already? You're just so used to taking a look at liquidity where it's resting at. It's kind of hard to look at your charts without it, in my opinion. All right, let's see here what the market's been cooking. All right, we had a nice little delta flip right here. So we can increase this here just a bit. Sellers also pushing, as you guys can see right here with this flip. So we'll bring down these delta bands down just a little bit lower. Okay, buyers again fighting, so we can kind of see where fair value already is sitting this morning. We'll kind of take a look at it on the bigger picture. Right smack here is where the fight right now is currently at. All right, so I'm going to be interested to see what how they react right here at this band. This is a seller band right here. So this is where sellers currently had some left some unbalanced volume, pretty much from the 543s to the 531s. So we'll see how this reacts here, if they break through here or if the sellers start to kind of take control here. Let's take a look at the footprint here. So again, buyers showing strength right here. And we're able to break through this unbalanced area here from sellers. But again, we're just kind of going right back into fair value here, so not really much to do here as far as trading right now. No high impact news scheduled for this morning, but at the same time, obviously any headlines here that comes out could cause some good volatility. So extremely important to have your news headline service, whatever it is that you use for your news service, make sure that's up and accessible. All right, so I got a few questions here. I traded a little last night. It was 50-50. What size account are you trading with Lucid? All of my Lucid accounts are 50Ks. Big same man traded GC. First took a loss of 1 hour, then it was a 4-hour trade. Covered 100 points. I blew my account this morning. J-Loves, did you blow it on the 6 a.m. candle? Because that was pretty nasty. And then Bing, can you talk about your strategy? Yeah, so I'm a volume-based trader. Pretty simple. I am looking for kind of a unique type of strategy, but what I'm looking for is I'm looking for unbalanced pockets of volume in the market. And I have some pretty simple rules. I've got some videos on YouTube, not some, I've got a lot of videos on YouTube that kind of explain how I find these areas of unbalanced volume, but pretty much the basic premise is an impulsive move, a break of structure, and no prior on the way up. I don't want to see any wicks coming back into areas that I would consider to be unbalanced. Typically on moves that break structure, but you see have long wicks also attached to that move, generally means that the original impulsive move was not strong enough to break the previous unbalanced volume area, and they had to dip back down into that volume area to finally make the push to break through and break structure. Now, the issue that I find with that is that as they come back down and re-tap into that volume, the source of that unbalanced volume now has diminished. And what I'm looking for are pretty strong sniper entries and reversals off of areas that I consider to be unbalanced, where we will see a reaction at. So majority of the bands that I put up that are in gold, those are going to be unbalanced volume areas. That's where I scalp from. And then I also have reaction bands that are bigger time frame, and I will annotate them or let you guys know, obviously, which is my bigger time frame. Those are going to be bigger trades. Those are generally from the 15 to 30 point range on the NQ versus my scalps that are about 10 points, 1-to-1 risk to reward. And then what you see in the green and the red is simply my volume footprint chart. How I determine green and red. So red is areas that I'd be looking to scalp short. Green areas are areas where I would like to scalp to the long side. And my strategy on the bands is very simple. When you find yourself a volume footprint that shows negative delta, but we still close with a green positive footprint, what that's telling me is that even though sellers were attempting to get this market to continue down, they were met with a roadblock here by buyers, and buyers were still able to overcome this particular 120 range footprint, which is equivalent to 30 points on the NQ, and with still beating out the negative delta. So that to me is very strong areas in the market, indication of either continuation moves to the upside or reversals. And that's what colors in these areas green. So wherever you see a red area, it's because we've had a red footprint closing somewhere right here with it was a red footprint candle with positive delta, meaning buyers were trying to get up through here. Sellers were still able to close out, even though that this had a positive 74 delta on this candle right here. And then these bands will adjust as price action, as I start to see flips here or not. So currently we're in an area that was previously dominated by sellers, even though I've already stated this morning that I'm not putting a huge weight on these just yet because of the fact that we had that big news spike. It balanced out a lot of the previous unbalanced volume that I personally saw in the market. So kind of coming in with more of a neutral stance here this morning. But as of right now, I want to see for this red to change into green, I'd need to see a green footprint candle with negative delta. that tells me that buying pressure is very strong in a selling area, and that would then change my bands. So currently I would only be looking for scalps long down here. I would be looking for scalps short up here, but something's obviously got to make sense. And a good example of this is going to be right here. So let's just see what this looks like. It's not super clean. So I'll kind of give you an example here. So I have a pocket here of unbalanced volume. You can consider this an impulsive move because this broke structure. But as you can see, we really didn't have very strong candles here. We had a candle that came right back down, tapped into some unbalanced volume to continue its move to the upside. So for me, even though we might see a reaction right here, this is not an area right now where I would trade, I would not be scalping from. And then I just keep monitoring it and see what makes sense. And eventually something will. And as most people that have been watching my live streams now for, I guess, since November of last year, they know the power of these footprints to catch continuations and to catch reversals in the market. It's fantastic. So I have 3 different footprints that I use for my scalping strategy. My lowest time frame is the 30 range footprint. So that means that each one of these candles is equivalent to 7.5 points on the NQ. I use this for my scalping entry confirmation. So like right here, you had a red footprint candle, you had positive delta, and you can see the move down from there. This is where sellers showed strength. Plus they were in a bigger time frame. Remember, my higher time frame is the 120 range. So the higher time frame already told me this is bearish here. So these will prove to be very good entry confirmations. If my secondary entry confirmation is on the 60 range, which is equivalent to either 60 ticks or 15 points, however you want to look at it. For this box to be completed, it needs to travel 60 ticks or 15 points. And same thing here, we got a confirmation on the higher time frame. On the 60, you get a red footprint candle, positive delta. You got to move it to the downside for a good 30 to 35 points. Now you can see right here again, you got the same thing. We dipped into a buying area right here, and we got a green footprint candle. We had negative delta, and you can see the strong move to the upside. So they prove to be extremely good. Nothing's perfect, but they, based on context, if you find areas that have unbalanced volume, or key areas, whatever your trading strategy really is, wherever you find an area that you want to take a trade from, it's a great idea to pop up these footprint charts, and it makes it super easy because there's a lot of stuff that's in these footprints that can also confuse the shit out of most traders. The way I trade it is very simple but extremely effective. So Good things don't always have to be complicated. They're usually not. And then the last piece of my puzzle is I also use level 2 bookmap. And those also confirm areas of strength for me, like for these reaction zones that I have mapped out here. I will rely on level 2 data bookmap to also reconfirm that there is going to be liquidity sitting in these reaction bands or in these unbalanced volume areas that I map out. And I kind of base my strategy off of that. So far, pretty choppy morning, but at the same time, pretty balanced morning, meaning that every single move that we've had to the upside here, you could see that we've had some strong wicks to the downside, to the downside, to the downside. All that's telling me is that right now, buying pressure is not super strong, and that, you know, the market needs to refuel its move to finally break some structure. And when you see that, typically the moves are not going to be super strong. This could be just a very temporary bullish, channel to the upside, and to stay patient. Right now I'm not looking at longs just yet. They need to prove to me that the bulls are in complete control. And currently on the 120 footprint chart, as you guys can see, nothing here is telling me that they're willing to overtake, that they're strong enough to overtake any of the selling pressure here just yet. And that'll change. It always does. It always wills. So you can see right here on this candle in real time, you can see like this just gives me an insight to the market that you just don't get on a candlestick. You can see that how buyers are able to still get this candle moving upwards, even though there is still a lot of negative pressure here by sellers. So if they were able to close this candle out green with negative delta, then this red band would move to the top of this footprint chart. Green band would go all the way to the top of this footprint chart, and you would see how buyers now have started to overtake territory from the sellers. And it's a very good visual way to kind of find bias in the morning. And even though the move this morning has been strong, where is it? So this move right here that we all saw, this big guy right here, you don't see anything here for me painted green right now. All of this was very little volume. I just don't put a lot of weight on it to be able to draw all this up green just yet. There's no way that I would do that in a day like today. Make these candles a little bit more. Okay. And we just kind of sit around and kind of see what how price action develops here. So even though this was pretty close to a flip, it was not. It still was green candle, positive delta. So for me, not enough here to flip this green just yet. This band. Now you can see how sellers are defending their territory. Buyers were attempting to get this market to go up, as you can witness in the positive delta here, positive 14. but we still closed as a red candle. So that just tells me that the sellers are, as of right now, they're putting the foot in the sand, or the line in the sand here, and saying this is an area that we are going to be defending. Where versus on a footprint, on a candlestick, you would not have seen any of that. You wouldn't see any of that just yet. And that's incorporating volume into your overall strategy, which, you know, I'll debate anybody on, but volume is the only way to truly trade these markets. So again, for the giveaway will be, I'll run our giveaway at 10:30 a.m. this morning. All you got to do is just type in the keyword LUCID into the YouTube chat, and that'll enter you to win. Today I'm giving away a 25K Pro Eval account. This coming Wednesday, I'll be giving away a 50K Eval account. And this Friday, I am running my Cash Profit Friday. So 5% of my session P&L will be given away to a lucky viewer. So now we're just dipped into an area controlled here previously by buyers. So we'll now see if they can defend this area here, or if the sellers can start to overtake. Bigger picture, this is now where fair value is currently sitting at. The way how I look at it, obviously pretty close to where point of control is sitting at. I don't even really need point of control when I'm looking at my chart anymore, just because of the, you know, looking at where Delta currently stands. You can see how buyers came in here and defended this area. So again, it gives you a really good roadmap to kind of see what exactly is happening, and where you're able to take your best, highest probability trades. In general, it's so far been a pretty ugly morning as far as price action here, though. I'd like to see a little bit more expansion in the market. That helps me with volume, because once they expand, that generally means that there was an impulsive move, a lot of volume coming into the market, breaking of structure. I need that movement as a volume trader to be able to really take some, what I would consider to be some high probability scalps. So like currently, what they've left unbalanced, we've got a pocket sitting right there, and we've got a pocket sitting right here. So we most likely will see a reaction at these points. Just not the absolute greatest yet. In fact, this one doesn't look so bad to scalp, but, and you can see we just tapped right into that band. Look at the reaction that you get right there. That was good for about 12 to 15 points. And then when I find a clear setup, I will, you know, I put in my entry price, my stop loss, and where my TP is at. So kind of frames the setup pretty nicely. Less than a minute. Bing. On my scalps, on my 10 to 15 point scalps, it's less than a minute. You know, then I have 30-point trades that I go off of higher unbalanced volume areas. Those all depending on the market, you know, they could be a few minutes, 5 minutes. I've been in trades where they've been 40 minutes to get 30 points. Been in trades for 40 minutes that haven't even been able to get me the 30 points. So kind of depends on how the market volatility is going, but generally speaking, they're within a minute. So that reaction band right there proved to be pretty strong. Now we'll see right here. what, if anything, they're able to do. No change on the footprint here just yet. You have not seen me in Tradeify's stream. I have not been on any prop firms streams. And for buyers, we've got an area sitting right here, which actually they just tapped into, literally to the tick. But again, this is selling pressure right here, so would not feel very comfortable taking a scalp to the upside here. And let's just take a quick peek here at the ES. So ES did tap into a reaction band. I was not looking at the ES chart at that time. Tiger, this weekend's been a little crazy for me, so no, I have not installed that indicator. So I don't have it. I don't have it downloaded on my machines here yet. Yeah, but the airports yesterday were just an absolute complete shit show. Some people were saying they were waiting up to 3 hours. All right, let's see now. You can see how delta has been increasing throughout this entire push here. So let's see if they get exhausted somewhere in this upper reaction area zone. I will look to take a short here if we can close this red. I did not enter into there. So super late on that entry, and I'm in on 2 positions, so that's not good. Not sure what the hell happened there. That was not good. Not good at all. I meant to hit the bid button once there, clicked it twice. All right, so that does not look, this does not bode very well for me right now. This is not good. Both 60s are both positive here. And we have the chance here for the flip. So, yep. Oh, that was nasty. Holy shit, $4,600. Holy fuck. Oh, that was some fucking terrible trading right there. That was some terrible trading right there. I only meant to hit the bid sell once, got in on 2 positions there. Sorry, on this candle right here. Well, that was kind of a doozy for me. And we're pretty, this is pretty much almost 3R, negative 3R for me. Based on that, that should have been only an $1,800 loss. Which is going to really suck because this now looks to me like a very nice short setup here from this unbalanced reactionary zone. But I really just don't have the bullets here to... It's kind of a max loss for me for the day. I mean, that was a lot of days' work right there, lost on a stupid trade. Not the initial trade. The initial trade I liked. I mean, I was perfectly fine with it. Perfectly fine taking this loss here. But not on 2 positions. That was a lot of really good days of trading to ruin a lot of really positive days of trading on a pretty ugly error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this trading group out of the day for today. Just so we all know, LUCID funded account down 492. All of my PAs, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 PAs, all took $492 to $98 losses on that one trade. And cash account was down 492. So now the only thing I can do is I'll switch over to a different group, which is group 3 today. So as you guys know, I stagger my accounts. So I trade about 8 accounts per day. And that way that group took its max loss for the day. I'm not going to trade it anymore. And then I just got to switch out all my charts here to group 3. Sorry, bear with me while I go through all of these charts here. Again, today is a perfect example of why, in my opinion, you don't try to copy trade all of your accounts at the exact same time, because you'll have situations like this where you just have, you know, either a bad mistake or bad trade, and that one bad trade is spread out through, in my case, 27 funded accounts. So I have them staggered into groups. So I've got 3 groups that trade. And I just switched over to group 3. So those all have zero balances today, but that negative number you see in my session P&L won't change, because if I take another trade, you'll see that takes all of my accounts into account. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, for those of you that watch my stream regularly, you know what I just did currently. Key had a good question. She said, yeah, that trade sucked, but she had a good... she said, well, once you realized that you had made the mistake of adding that second contract, why didn't you just... Well, let me just switch over to the other account so we can see the execution right here. Why does this execute? Oh, yeah. So what my initial thought was, the trade idea is what I would have taken no matter what. I would have taken the short no matter what. Would have taken a loss on one lot or one position, however you want to look at it. But what I was, and you saw me kind of holding the stop loss on the secondary position. What I was hoping for is if we could get my trailing stop works very simple. If this next candle closes as a red footprint down, that means that they've already balanced out everything that they've needed to balance out up here. So there's no reason for the market to want to re-tap that unless you get this. If you get this, then yes, they could come right back here. Sometimes they'll sweep the top of this, finish out all of the volume sitting right here, then take the short to the long, then take the move to the downside. So the only thought process I had in that trade at that point was if I got a situation where I could get either some type of confirmation that this move was going to continue going down. You saw me, I went to the 60 range to see if maybe on the lower time frame I got a flip to the downside. Then I can manage my risk and bring it down to this next candle. But closing out of that second position, even though it was a mistake of mine, there's no reason to close my position out. Well, in hindsight, there is, but in the trade, there's no really reason to close out that trade early, because if that was the case, then I had no faith that this was going to be continue going down, and I did at that point. We were in a strong reaction band here. They swept it. We got the footprint confirmation, a lot of positive delta. It's exactly what I like, so I'll take this trade 10 out of 10 times. So for me, there was really no reason, minus the mistake, to exit out one of those positions at that point. Now, in hindsight, yes, that would have been amazing for me to close that out. I would have probably saved myself $2,200 on that trade. And a secondary thing is I've got a button here that will close my trade, execute my trade at the close of this footprint. And I had it, you know, if you go and you see my entire screen highlighted, which means it was activated, but I did not get filled here at the entry. So then, which is probably actually, now that's what happened. Now I understand what happened. What happened here was I have my buttons to automate an execution based on a close. So if this closes a red candle, it'll automatically mark it into the market. So that was activated. If you go back and replay this video, you're going to see that this chart turned green, and at the bottom there was a symbol or a sentence here that said, you know, close down bar market activation. So when I didn't get filled here, I went in and I clicked on the bid short button, and the market order also got me in. So it wasn't that I pressed the bid button twice, which I didn't feel like I did. It was two executions here. I had to have canceled out this bar, which again, it was a market order, so it was very strange that it didn't just mark it in here. Maybe it did. It was just maybe a second or two delay. But that's now, I mean, looking at it, that makes me understand what happened there more. And now, based on current price action, this area right now is not all red, so this would go up to here, and this guy would go all the way up to here. So this is what this looks like now. Now the buyers here have regained some of their territory here. And we'll just continue to monitor and see what how price action develops here. I'll be right back. And this also was a very good reversal setup right here. Again, you could see how delta was continuing to increase, which is kind of what I was hoping for right here. Maybe not the best entry, again, now looking in hindsight, because of the fact that we were a little sideways here. What I like to see is clear direction going straight up, increasing delta, which you can see. Exhaustion of buyers right here, and this is where sellers obviously stepped in. This probably would have been a great area here to short, but just wasn't really looking at that point. So let me just get the initial balance here set up. So initial balance is at the initial balance low is at the 24,432.50, and the high is sitting at the 24,688.25. And it's a part of trading, man. I mean, you all month you've got some pretty good days of trading, and you know, in one trade there you can it can go sideways on you pretty quickly. Okay, so buyers still stepping up here again. So now we are in pretty solid buying area right here. right, so we got a little reaction zone here on the buying side at the 24,576, targeting the 24,589 with the stop at the 24,562. So we'll see here unless we get a flip here on the higher time frame that would indicate anything here strong from sellers, which we currently do not have, as you can see right here. We don't have any flips here by sellers here just yet, so we'll why is that not showing? There we go. And I say it all the time, guys. I mean, you know, as upset as I can possibly be with that trade, you know, it's the market's got a funny way of kind of balancing itself out. So, I mean, that was a pretty nasty one. For you guys that have been watching my stream for the last 4 or 5 months, I've never had a red day at $4,600. I've never had a red day more than like 3,500, which is my 2 to 3R range. That is very nasty number to look at. And not just to try to, you know, one trap that you might fall into is to, you know, take a trade just to try to get back everything that you've lost. The market doesn't really care what you lost. Doesn't care about if you clicked the button twice or if you had a strategy running and you took a secondary execution there that you didn't want to take. It does not give a shit about any of that. It just cares about where the next piece of volume is currently sitting at for them to complete their auctions. That's it. We also do have kind of an interesting scenario here that I'd like to see if maybe if it plays out. What I'd like to see is possibly a sweep of this unbalanced volume area here from buyers. Let's see if we can sweep that and maybe even take this trade for a little bit higher. Yeah, we are in a very big unbalanced volume area right here currently. So I'm going to be looking at the 120. Obviously, right now looking for a scalp here to the 24,589. That's what I have my target set to. But that trade can actually turn into like the 657s. I'm just going to mark this up right here. Load that as a reaction scalp. And this would be, let's see if I can type this in here. This would be I'd like to see them just tap right into it here. They could be just sweeping this this volume area right here. I must say I do like this as a long here. Let's see if I can get a better price. All right, I'm going to take a long there. I do like that. And this stop I will put right here. Let's see if we can get a rip here. If we can close this as a green, I'll move my stop right up to the bottom of this footprint. Okay, so risk is reduced down to 10 points there. Let's see if we get a nice little push here. I like this to be points. All right, I'm going to close that out right there. So that was a nice trade right there. They swept that unbalanced volume area, got a nice footprint right there with 48 negative delta, green footprint. Obviously probably would have been able to get my second target, which was sitting right up here. Second take profit, but on a day like today, it's not a day to really be super greedy. Very easy move to spot. So the one, again, another positive on a bad day, but another positive is that if you implement the strategy of your two accounts, or staggered accounts, staggered groups, which I'm a huge fan of. I really only picked that up maybe 2 months ago. The beauty of that is that, yes, I've got one group, which is my group 2, which I started off the morning. Those were all down $400. They're all down $498. Okay, all the evals. But now, group 3, which coincidentally is my strongest group, now they're all positive $225 on that trade. So even though I've got a negative P&L for the day, I've got 9 funded accounts that are now all in the green, $270. Yes, I know I have a group that's negative, but in a way, that's the one way that you could kind of look at it on a positive note. And that was a great example of how I can, well, I kind of deleted already the band here that I had labeled down as, you know, your higher time frame unbalanced volume area. And you can see, so like currently this 24,576 is something that I would not trade at this point. The reason being is that we tapped 2 points away from where my scalping entry was going to be at, and so that to me, they balanced a lot of volume right here, a lot of volume. Okay, so now even though this trade could in theory still work out from the 24,576, not sure what happened to my other line here. This was down here. It should be like that. Even though this trade here could work out, what you'll see a lot of times right now is, you know, if the move did not close this out here, they could very easily sweep this down here, and on a sweep, it might sweep down to your stop loss. So what I like to see is I like to see clean entries into my scalps and then the reversal. I don't want to see it missing my entry by a point or two, which is exactly what happened here. It just means that my entry was off by a point or two. But the actual move, what I see in the market as unbalanced volume, already played out. And if they break this low here, if they break this 24,579, which was where the bottom of this footprint, where my entry confirmation was, if they break this move to the upside for them, because what I thought they would close this out for sure. Maybe a little bit lower, actually maybe even a little bit higher, to be honest with you. They've got more to go. They got more upside here to go still, but what I did on my trade was once this closed as green, I knew that they had no business coming back down here anymore. They balanced out what they wanted. Now they wanted to complete their auction at a higher price. So there's no reason to keep your stop down here. At that point, I trailed my stop to this bar right here, which gave me about 10 points of exposure to make 38 points. I'll take that every day. And I got a decent entry, so I made up a little bit there on the entry as well. So my entry would normally be at this at the top of this candle. Was able to get a better price, so overall the entire trade worked out to be pretty nicely. Give me 1 second, guys. right, sorry about that. So kind of a wacky morning, kind of a... Oh, I guess it's been a wacky 24 hours for me, but definitely a wacky morning. For those of you that are just joining and looking at maybe the craziness that you see there on the P&L, did end up taking a short. Took a short. Let's see where that short was at. Right here. So if I switch over to group 2, this was my short right here. You can see 2 short. That should have been 1 position short. And so what I had, my mistake here, not really mistake, but I guess in looking at it now and understanding what happened, I've got, through my order management indicator, I've got the ability to close on, or to, I'm sorry, to open on candle close. So as long as this closes as a red footprint, this will execute a short, a market order short for me. And I had clicked that, activated it. Didn't get filled, as you can see. This closed right here, did not get filled. So when I saw that I didn't get filled, I quickly clicked the sell bid button, got myself into a position, and then this market order also got me into another position. I'm assuming at the same time, and obviously took a loss. So what ended up being, which should have been a $1,800 loss or $2,000 loss, ended up being like a $4,400 loss, which was almost 75% of this month's profit for me, which was not good. And then decided to, instead of calling it a morning, which I could have done, this trade I would take 10 out of 10 times. So fine, I was wrong. Every trader's going to be wrong. No big deal. The secondary position made this loss obviously look terrible. But then was able to find another pretty strong unbalanced volume area in the market and took a long there for 38 points back to the upside on a staggered group of funded accounts. So I currently have one group that's in green, and I've got one funded group that is in pretty bad negative loss. They're all about 480 bucks, which, again, for those of you just joining, looking at my channel for the first time, majority of the other traders, they know that my typical P&L on a good day is $1,000 to $2,000. My typical negative P&L is going to be $1,000 to $1,500 bucks or $1,800 bucks. To take a $4,400 loss on one trade, one has really never happened on this channel. So don't think that just because you tuned in that that's something that, you know, how I trade. It's not. It just happened that I was in 2 positions there instead of 1. But was able to recover there nicely and at least get one group of accounts into some positive territory. And this theory here that I have still, I feel like there's a pretty big auction that they can complete right here at the 24,656. Again, if they break this low down here, this move to the upside was a pretty big fake out in my opinion. And as I say that, we now have this scenario playing out. We've got we do have now sellers that have stepped in right here. So even though buyers have been in complete control here this morning, sellers have now stepped in right here. So we'll see if that can continue or not. But that's kind of an interesting little development there on the NQ. And you can see right there that pretty much exactly it kind of played out how I thought it would. My theory here was if they break this low, they weren't going to take this obviously out. This to me was my, well, it was my kind of my original target there on this bigger move was right up here. And they did not break this low down here. So that to me signaled, and now we'll take a look at this IB play here. Let me go to split screen here. You got the 60 range on the right-hand side of your chart here, and we're on the 30 range on the main chart here. And again, what I'm looking for on the initial balance is see if I can get some type of flip here or not. Some kind of order confirmation here on the footprint. Get rid of this guy. We don't need him anymore. Let's just clean up a few things here on the chart real quick. Looks like that. I'm going to switch over to the 60 range here now. And again, right back. So I'm split screen here now. I'm on the 60 range right here, and on my side chart that you see on your screen is the 120 range now. And the reason why I'm doing that is because now we've got sellers again starting to show strength right here. So this now increases based off of this flip right here. So for me, shorts look kind of desirable right now in this for this initial balance. Okay, and then I'll also update you guys with this. We've got a very strong pocket of liquidity sitting right here. I don't like drawing it on that. Let me draw it here. I don't know why it doesn't do a good job. There we go. Okay. Very strong pocket of liquidity sitting right up here, so we could very easily not only sweep this IB, but sweep this. That would, to me, would be a very nice indication of a nice short here for me. And this could be possibly a much bigger short. So we'll see here what happens. And bigger target. Bigger target for me would be down here, would be at the 24,626. Come on, let's see a push here. Okay, sellers showing strength once again. To give you a quick peek too, this is one target here. This would be my pretty much your initial target, big target, if I can get something on the 120 range. Your other big target honestly is this fair value area right here at the 24,594, somewhere right around this spot right here. All right, let's see if we can get close here. Now, I know that they could come after the 700s, so that is one risk that you take. But it's not a flip just yet here. This is not a delta flip for me. You might have got a good one on the 30. Let me just take a peek at the 30. Yeah, so the 30 gave you a really nice scalping opportunity right here. So that was maybe a little unlucky for me. I do see some bigger moves here, but on a scalp opportunity, this would have been a perfect one. This is 7.5 points of stop here. Target 15 points on your for your IB trade. That would have got you 15 points with really no sweat whatsoever, with 0 drawdown. That would have been a nice flip right there. And the only reason why I decided to be on the 60 range, which did not give me an order confirmation right here, was I knew that there would be a good case for the market to want to tap into this 700s right up here. So the higher time frame would help me out with that one, and that was really the only reason. If this wasn't sitting here, I probably would have stayed on the 30 range and just taken my scalp for 15 points and probably been maybe done for the day. All right, so we got about 15 more minutes for our giveaway here. Just type in the keyword LUCID into the chat, and you'll be entered to win. Today I'm giving away a 25K Pro Eval account with LUCID. On Wednesday, I'll be giving away a 50K Pro account. And on Friday, I will be running my Cash Profit Friday, so 5% of my session profits will be given away. So we got at least a few exciting things here coming up this week on the channel. IB proved to be a pretty nice move there. So unable to capitalize on that. Yes, Nordic, you are right. As far as the unbalanced volume area, that is definitely a strong area. Even though I don't really like the wick so much, but this would really stink if they come after my target here, but off of 30 range scalp, I would not be targeting that low. I'd be targeting that if I could get 120 range That was kind of nasty. That was a nice, pretty. That was a nice, pretty move. A nice, pretty move there. I knew that they weren't going to probably balance this out down here, which they just did. That sucked. And I wish I would have got some kind of confirmation to take a short there. Was ready for it. And then, like I said, the bigger secondary target might be a little bit more tougher to get is the 24,596. What I think occurs, I would say a strong possibility, is a sweep right here into our buying zone and a very big move right to this big piece of liquidity that's sitting here. This is their final prize right here. Again, a little tough to take a long right from here. You are obviously going into selling pressure, but I think the sellers have done a decent job of balancing this market coming down, so we'll see. Just to me, they can get a whole bunch of liquidity down here as well. Even though this area right here, one of my signal members called this out. And they were 100% right. This was a unbalanced volume area. Nice break of structure, impulsive move, no wicks coming down into this area. So to see this reaction here is understandable. But let's just see. Let's stay patient here and see what happens. All right, got 8 more minutes for the giveaway. Let me get everything prepped up here. We're ready to go. 5 more minutes for the giveaway. Unfortunately, nothing here to scalp from, to the downside. You could actually, the candles give you a very good indication of what occurred on the way down. They balanced everything out extremely well to the downside. There was really no impulsive move to the downside. It was just kind of a steady flow. This, to me, you know, this is where the liquidity was sitting at, so that to see this candle obviously was no surprise. I'm a little, the way I look at it, they would want to retrace back down to here, the 24,596s, clean everything out right here, and then they've got a really nice target up here at the 700s, 24,700s. In fact, this area right here is honestly a pretty good place for a short to me, too. This right here is a great short opportunity to the 596s. And I did have my finger hovering on the bid button, just did not get a decent enough entry. Because again, my stop would go right here. This is a nice flip. I mean, this is going to get hit. Just wasn't really quick enough on my decision there. Well, that would have got me green to for the day. Right there. Now let's see. Now this might play out, which is what I was kind of talking about here. I'd like to see this pushed down a little bit more, maybe to like the 590s or somewhere in this vicinity. And that would have been a nice little 30-point winner there. And I had my finger on the bid button sell, but it was down here, and I already knew that taking a short from there, my stop would have to go up here, so I'd probably be looking at about 36-point stop. I don't even think I can get 36 points to this 596. So but this was a classic continuation trade down to the downside. All right, 1 minute left for the giveaway here. There'll be a 2-minute timer. Just type in thanks if you're the winner within those 2 minutes. If not, we'll pick another. All right, the comments are loaded in. Give me 1 second here to get this all. All right, here we go. All right, for a 25K Pro Lucid account, let's go. Again, once the winner's picked, there'll be a 2-minute timer that's going to show up on your screen. And just type in thanks if you're the name that pops up. If not, we'll rerun it. Here we go. All right, David Becker, WJ4MC, you have 2 minutes starting right now. Again, David Becker, WJ4MC, just type in thanks into the chat and you will be the winner for the Lucid 25K. Again, I'll be giving away another 50K Pro account on Wednesday. Cash pack, David Becker claimed it. Very nice job. David, I'm gonna put my email in here. Just send me a quick email, please. All right, David, my email's in the chat. Just send me a quick email there, buddy, and I'll send you the code for you to claim that 25K eval. Pro eval. Again, Wednesday I'll be giving away a 50K eval, and then Friday is my cash profit Friday. 5% of my winnings session profits will go to a lucky viewer. So I do a daily recap for all my Signal members. I do run a Signal service on, providing signals as far as entries, take profits, and stop losses. Pretty much like what I do here this morning. And I do a daily recap with them. It's a good way for me to kind of just journal my entire day and put my thoughts on paper. Today's going to be a doozy. But, even though I had a absolutely insane 24 hours. For those of you who know, I was flying back home last night, got stuck in about a 3.5 hour delay at TSA delay, and I didn't get home. Flight didn't arrive till about 2:30. I didn't actually get into bed till about 3:15. So not on a lot of sleep. I don't feel tired actually whatsoever right now, which is a little crazy, but I don't. I have that in my journal already. But ended up taking a short this morning that was anticipated to be one position, and what I consider to be probably a technical glitch, or maybe just a mistake on. I had an automated entry at the close of a down footprint candle. Didn't see that entry hit, so I clicked the bid sell button. Both of them must have activated at the same time, got me into 2 positions. Ended up taking a loss there. I'm perfectly fine with the loss. Today would have still been a green day, with just my normal trading. But ended up taking a double-sized position loss. So I was in the hole there for $4,400 at one point. Came back, found a really nice setup to go long, took 38 points on the long there. So in all, the trading was fine for me today. It just was not... that double position mistake was not the best, but it is what it is. So let me just take a picture here of David Becker. But at the same time, I've got a group of PAs and funded accounts that are all positive here this morning. I've got another group of PAs that are negative here this morning. So the staggered approach definitely worked out pretty well. But all right, YouTube, I think I'm going to call it here a morning. Got some things that I will need to get done here in the afternoon, and then maybe come back, take a look at the charts. Appreciate everybody who supports the channel, everybody who's here every morning. Wish the day would have been a lot more greener, but at the same time, it could have been a lot worse, right? I mean, that P&L that I was looking at, and again, the market's doing exactly what I think it's going to do. All right, guys, I will see you guys here tomorrow morning, and let's see if we can finish off March strong. Take care, everyone.